Hello, good morning to one and all. Myself is Dr. Kausar Unnisa, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management, Government First College. So today I am going to give the information regarding to the overhead cost control, how the costs of overheads can be controlled under primary distribution method. Let us, before going to start this overhead cost control, let us know what do you mean by overhead. Overhead is defined as the aggregate of indirect materials, indirect wages, indirect expenses. So it also refers to the any cost which is not directly attributable to a cost. According to CIMA, overhead costs are defined as the total cost of indirect materials, indirect labor, and indirect expenses. All these indirect materials, labor, and indirect expenses are called as overheads. Again, these overheads are classified on the basis of functions, on the basis of elements, and on the basis of behavior. Let us know what are the overheads on the basis of functions. So on the basis of functions, one will be the factory overheads, administration overhead, and selling and distribution overhead, research and development overhead. What do you mean by this factory overhead means? So the factory overheads are nothing but the total indirect costs associated with manufacturing activities, which starts with purchasing of materials and ends with the factory expenses incurred. For example, the indirect materials such as lubricants, cotton, waste, wages of indirect workers, factory rent, rates, lighting, and heating, these all comes under the factory overheads. The next is administration overhead. So in the administration overheads are all the indirect expenses which are incurred at the office premises. For example, paying office rent and rates, office lighting, office postage expenses, telephone charges, all these which are relating to the office are comes in the administration overhead. Next is selling overheads. So selling overheads are those expenses which are associated with the marketing and selling activities, such as the salaries and commissions which are paid to the salesman, advertisement expenses, publicity expenses, any market research expenses are all comes under the selling overheads. And distribution overheads are those where the total indirect costs are associated with the distribution of finished products. So where we are bringing from the packed goods available for the dispatch and any with the making the reconditioned returnable empty container if any available for the reuse. For example, packing charges, carriages, freight outwards, all these expenses are comes under distribution overhead. Next is research and development overheads. So these are nothing but the indirect costs which are incurred for the research and development activities undertaken by the organization for the development of new products, implement and the existing products. And the next is the next type of overhead, let us will go, that is called as the classifications according to the elements. There are three. One is indirect material, indirect labor, and indirect expenses. So what do you mean by this indirect expenses? What do you mean by this indirect materials? Indirect materials means which includes under materials, sorry to in the classifications according to the elements, indirect materials, indirect labor, and indirect expenses. So which includes under indirect materials are those which includes under materials which cannot be identified in the production. Example, fuel and tools. Indirect labors are those materials which cannot be allocated to the particular unit of cost. Examples will be general indirect labors, salary of storekeepers, and wages for the maintenance workers. Indirect expenses are the expenses which cannot be allocated but can be absorbed by the cost or cost unit. Example are training expenses, depreciation of plant, machinery, and or from comes under the indirect expenses. Again, on the basis of behavior, the expenses are being calculated. Expenses are fixed overheads, variable overheads, and semi-variable overheads. Fixed overheads are that which tends to remain unaffected by the fluctuation in the value of production of output during a period of time is known as fixed overhead. Variable overheads are according to the increase or decrease in the volume of production is called variable overhead. And semi-variable overheads are partly fixed and partly variable overheads. So before going to calculate the primary distribution overhead, let us know what you mean by allocation and apportionment of overheads. Allocations are nothing, allocation of expenses is nothing but the allotment of entire items of cost to the cost centers or cost unit, where the nature of expenses can be easily identified and allocated according to the cost center. For example, salary paid to the office staff is allocated to which department means it is to the administration department. And the next one is apportionment. So apportionment means allotment of items of cost to the cost centers, or and it is then the case of those items of overhead which cannot be allocated to a particular department. Example is with the light cannot be allocated to only one particular department, so it has to be proportionately allocated to the various departments on the basis of and these are all the overheads on the basis of what thing if they are going to be apportionment. For example, the rent and building of building and other building expenses, lighting and heating, fire precautionary service, air conditioning, all they are going to be allocated or apportioned on the basis of floor area. The fringe benefits, labor welfare expenses, personal office time, keeping, they are going to be apportioned on the basis of number of workers, and the compensation to workers, holiday pay, ESI, PF contribution, fringe benefits. If any these kind of expenses are given, it has to be apportioned to both production and service department on the basis of direct wages. General overheads are being apportioned on the basis of direct labor and direct wages on the machine hours. And next is any depreciation on plant and machinery, repairs on plant, insurance of stock will be apportioned on the basis of capital values, the power expenses, internal transport expenses, managerial salaries on the basis of technical estimates. Lighting expenses are going to be apportioned on the basis of number of points, electric power on the basis of density of machines or the number of machine hours. So whatever the things they have given based on these areas, the electric power is going to be apportioned. Material handling stores overhead will be on the basis of weight of materials, volume of materials, or value of materials. Well, before going to say what, let us know about the service department. Service department means those departments which render service to the production in order to ensure smooth flow of production. So they are called as the stores department, accounts department, security department, canteen department. So all comes under the service department. See, in case of distribution of overheads, we are going to calculate both methods. One will be the primary distribution overheads. The second one will be secondary distribution overheads. So how the primary distribution overheads are going to be taken place is how in the primary distribution overhead, how the expenses are being apportioned to all production and service department. It is nothing but the process of distributing the overhead to both production and service is called primary. If you are going to allocate to all production and service department, whatever the expenses are incurred, that is called as primary distribution. How about in secondary distribution means, earlier how we used to do apportion all the production, the expenses to both production and service department, and whatever the service department expenses are there, again it will be redistributed to the production department. It is called as secondary distribution. Except the material, direct wages and direct expenses, whatever the values are given relating to these, that is direct material, direct wages and direct expenses, the only service departments will be considered as the indirect expenses. Let us will see the problem here. There is how we are going to calculate under primary distribution. This is the data obtained from the books of X Limited for the year ended 31st March 19. The expenses they have given that has to be apportioned, that has to be allocated to both production and service department. The stores overhead is 400 rupees incurred, power is 1500, electricity and lighting 200 rupees, labor welfare 3,000, depreciation 6,000, repairs and maintenance is 1,200, general overheads 10,000, tax and rate is 6,000. So with these expenses we have to prepare, and along with that still more along with that still more one table is also being given relating to this question. So this is about the expenses what they have been incurred, that is the production and service department. So materials values of all production department, direct labor values, and also number of employees, electricity, light points, asset value, and area occupied. See, these are all will be considered for the calculation of the ratios. So the expenses also been given, and also in the table, whatever the expenses will be given, that has to be considered for the calculation of ratio. And the next thing is that before going to allocate or apportion, we have to calculate the ratios for the table, whatever the values are there. For that, we have to calculate the ratios. The direct materials value, in the table, it is 7,000, 6,000, 5,000, 1,000, 1,000. So we should bring it to the lowest value. So here we are removing all the 3 zeros. Then we are getting the ratio. That is 7:6:5:1. In the same manner, direct labor also, we have calculated the ratio. If it is divisible, if you are going after removing the zeros, which is that number, which table it will be easily divided, can be divided by that number. So here we have removed first 2 zeros, then we have divided by 5. 5 6 are 30, 5 5 are 25, 5 4 are 20, 5 2 are 15, 5 2 are 10. And the number of employees also calculated ratio, electricity, light points, asset value, and area occupied. We have to remove the zeros and divided by one number which can be easily divisible. Let us will see this question. Let us will see this solution for the problem 1, how to calculate the primary distribution overhead. So as I told you that except this direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses, it is given in the question. So only service department expenses has to be taken to the primary distribution, but not the of production. So we saw in the question that the direct materials are 1,000 and 1,000. So we have taken here, but not the production. So the total value will be 2,000. Similarly, direct labor also 1,500 and 1,000. The total will be 2,500. Let us we have to allocate the expenses that which is given in the question. That is we read in the slides that stores overhead is 400. So in the particulars we have the right stores. So that is 400. On which basis we are going to allocate? That is on the basis of direct material. So we have been apportioned to all the production departments. That is 7:6:5:1:1, what we calculated earlier here. That is of direct materials. So the entire 400 has to be shared between all the production as well as the service department. First we total the ratios, that is 13 plus 5, 18, 19, 20. 400 into 7 by 20 is 400 into 6 by 20, 400 into 5 by 20, 400 into 1 by 20, and 400 into 1 by 20. Similarly, the one more expenses they have given, that is power of 1,500. Again, it has to be apportioned to all the departments. Power, that is 1,500. So we are going to allocate on the basis of electricity ratios. 6:6:6:2, 2:3. So total all the ratios. So we are getting the 25 here. That is 1,500 into 8 by 25, 1,500 into 6 by 25, 1,500 into 6 by 25, 1,500 into 2 by 25, and 1,500 into 3 by 25. Same manner, we have to apportion here also lighting expenses. We have to apportion on the basis of light point. The value of lighting is 200. So to all the departments, the ratio is 2 by 200 into 2 by 10. The total value 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. So it is nothing but 10. So 200 into 2 by 10, 200 into 3 by 10, 200 into 3 by 10, 200 into 1 by 10, and 200 into 1 by 10. Then the labor welfare. So 3,000 is the total expenses given in the question. It has to be allocated on the basis of number of workers. The ratio of number of workers is 4:3:3:1:1. So the total will be 12 here. So 3,000 into 4 by 12, 3,000 into 3 by 12, 3,000 into 3 by 12, 3,000 into 1 by 12 and 3000 into 1 by 12. And then repairs and maintenance on the basis of asset value, we have a portion, the ratio is 5:3:2:1:1. We have allocated 1200 on the basis of this ratio. General overhead also on the basis of 10,000 is the total value. We have to allocate on the basis of direct wages. So we got the value, that is the ratio is 6:5:4:3:2. The values we have all calculated and written on the values. Tax rate 600 rupees is there. It has to be allocated on the basis of area occupied. The ratio is 4:3:1:1. So it is nothing but 4 by 12, 3 by 12, 3 by 12, 1 by 12, 1 by 12 into 600 and calculate it. At last, after allocating all the expenses, we have to total all the overheads, total column and all the production and service department. So this is how we have to calculate the primary distribution overhead. So when we are going to calculate the primary distribution overhead, first we have to frame the table. We should see how many departments are given in the question, how many production and how many what service departments. So in this question there are 3 production and 2 service departments. So totally 5 columns. Along with that, one particular column should be drawn, total column and the basis or the ratio what we are going to calculate on the basis of what we are going to be allocated, that column along with if there is a 5 department means along with the 3 columns extra has to be drawn. It is nothing but total 8 columns has to be drawn a table for the primary distribution table. See one more question, that is problem number 2. They have given the India Company Limited has 3 production and service departments. Rent, these are all the expenses that has to be allocated to both production and service department. Rent and rates is 10,000, lighting is 1,200, indirect wages 3,000, power fee, depreciation is 20,000, insurance is 5,000, indirect material 4,000, service charges 6,000. And also further information is also being given in the table. See the table which has to be calculated for the ratios, the floor space value expenses given. These are all the square feet values, light points, the number of light points is the horsepower of machines of all the 5 departments, cost of machines values given, wages expenses, stock values expenses, direct material expenses and working hours only to the production. Along with that, they have also given a table. After calculating all the total overheads, again it has to be redistributed to the service department. Whatever the values are left out in the service, to the department X, how means that is 20%, 30%, 40% has to be shared to the production. If we are distributing department Y expenses, that is service departments, means to the all the production departments only it has to be redistributed. This 40%, 20% and 30%. We should not distribute to the when we are distributing X, it should not be distributed to Y. When we are distributing Y expenses, should not be distributed to X under primary distribution. Let us start for calculating the problem, that is 2. Here in the question they have given that is the expenses. First, that is rent and rates 10,000. So rent and rates, as I told, there are 5 departments here along with that 3 production and 2 service department, 5 columns along with that 3 additional columns. One will be for particulars, basis of allocation and 1 total column. So rent and rates on what basis we are going to allocate means whatever the things which are given in the question, that is floor space or floor occupied. The floor space here is 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 2,500. So we can remove 2 zeros, then we can able to divide easily by all the numbers by 5. This is 5 4s are 20, 5 5s are 25, 5 6s are 30, 5 4s are 20 and 5 1s are 5. This is the ratio what we have written. On the basis, the total is 10,000. We are going to allocate to all the production and service department. The total values of all these 4 plus 5 9 plus 6 15, then plus 4 19 plus 1 20. So 10,000 into 4 by 20 is 2,000. 10,000 into 5 by 20 is 2,500. 10,000 into 6 by 20 is 3,000. 10,000 into 4 by 20 is 2,000 and 10,000 into 1 by 20 is 500. Again, one more expense they have given, that is lighting 1,200. Lighting, the basis of allocation is light points given in the question, the table. Whatever the things they are given in the table only has to be taken for the apportionment. That is light points 2:3:4 2:1. Now see here 110 we remove the, we have simplified the values 2:3:4 2:1. So in the same manner, so first we total all the ratio values 3 plus 2 5 plus 4 9 10 11 12. So total value is 12. So it has to be out of 12, 2 should be given to the A department, 3 ratio for B department like that. So 1200 into 2 by 12, 1200 into 3 by 12, 1200 into 4 by 12, 1200 into 2 by 12 and 1200 into 1 by 12. Indirect wages expenses is there, it has to be allocated on the basis of direct wages. The ratio is 6:4:6:3:1. Now see here, direct wages is, remove all the three zeros, we get we can able to frame easily the ratios. 6:4:6:3:1. The ratio we have allocated 6 plus 4 10 plus 6 16 plus 3 19 20. Total value of the ratio is 20. So 3000 into 6 by 20, 3000 into 4 by 20, 3000 into 6 by 20, 3000 into 3 by 20 and 3000 into 1 by 20. And the next expense is given in the question, that is of power 3000. The power has taken, it has to be allocated on the basis of horsepower of the machines given in the table. That is, see here we can able to remove only 110s. So 2 6 are 12, 2 3s are 6, 2 5s are 10, 2 1s are 2. Now here we have returned here. We have allocated the 3000 value to all the production. Only one department is not given the value of the power of people. So it is given. Then depreciation we have allocated on the basis of cost of machine. The value is 20,000. See the ratio. Cost of machine ratios. Remove all the three zeros. We can able to frame. We can simplify the values and calculate the ratio. 12 is 16 is to 20 is to 1 is to 1 total, and then allocate according to the basis of ratio. Insurance also in the same manner. It is being allocated on the basis of stock value. The ratio given the stock value has to be allocated. And then next will be indirect materials is given in the question. So it has to be allocated on the basis of direct materials. The ratio is given in the table. We have to calculate simplifying by the values. The total is 4,000. Then we got the values of A department 1,000, is 1,200, 800, 600 and Y is 400. In this manner, sundry charges also has to be allocated. So in the question, we should check whether direct materials or direct wages values or direct expenses are there. Only we have to enter the service department but not the production. In this question, they have given direct materials and direct wages values, that is 3,000, 1,000 and 3,000, 2,000. We have taken direct the thing here, that is of only service department, then total value they have entered. At last, we should total all the, we should see all the expenses are been allocated along with the materials, direct wages and direct expenses. Then we should total all the overheads total column. So here one more additional thing they have given in this question, that we have to allocate the expenses of X department 13,150 and Y department 5,750 to again to the production department. Again, we are going to allocate only to the production department. This 13,150 we are deducting here and we are adding to the production department. And also, if we are going to allocate the X department to all the ABC production department, they have given the percentage, that is the X department, and we are going to allocate 20%, 30% and 40%. So we have taken here 2:3:4 ratio. So 13,150 in the form of 2:3:4 means 20%, 30%, 40%. So we have considered calculated in the form of ratio. So this is 2/9, 3/9, 4/9. The values we have got, that is 2,922, 4,380, 5,845. We minus here only the values which is remaining, that is of Y department again has to be allocated. Then we should allocate the Y department to all the production. Then we are adding to the production department, that is 5,750. The ratio is also given in the form of percentage, 40%, 20%, 30%. We have made it in the form of ratio 4:3. Then it is nothing but 4/9, 2/9 and 3/9. So 5,750 we shared to the values of production department. So this is how we have to qualify it according to